Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time. I have Maggie here and we are going to be giving you guys a review of the Holes literature study by Moving Beyond the Page. So here is the book. I actually have Maggie here because I want her to first give you guys her impression and review of the curriculum. Then I'm going to have her leave and I'm going to talk to you guys about what I feel about the literature review. So starting off with Maggie, did you like it? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs
Definitely.
up. Okay, tell me a few things that you liked about it.
I liked that it was organized and it tested me on the questions, so I didn't just read through the book, but I also read through the book and comprehended what I read.
Okay, what else? That's like the school student answer, you know, unscripted, but tell me, like, what was fun about it? What kept you engaged in the curriculum?
Activities.
Activities.
I love hands-on.
What type of activities did you do?
I made like peaches, spiced peaches. I glued things on paper. I did a few different crafts. That's what made it fun.
There's a couple other things that you did within the curriculum as well. She had to get like a survival box. You want to show them your survival box?
Yes.
There's a couple of things missing out of it, but she had to get a survival box together. And what was this box for? What was the purpose of it?
So like I was going to make it, if I was going to found a camp, what would it be like? Or what would it be like? So they had me put together a survival kit so that when I first got to the camp, what would they have in here? So I have a water bottle, a notebook, and a pen just in case they want to write to their family. And we don't have a flashlight in the house, but it's verbally in here.
Flashlight, what else? There were some other things.
Flashlight and...
I can't remember exactly, but she put some things in here. And this was like, if she came up with her own camp and she was going to give advice to other camp goers for things that they needed to have in their bin or in their suitcase or whatever if they were going to camp. So she put together this bin, water, which was a big thing for the whole Holes theme. If you've never watched the movie or read the book, water is like a big thing. So a water bottle to house water in, flashlight to be able to see because it was completely dark out there, a journal because you want to write about your experience anytime you go to camp. And she's thinking more of like happy, fun, structured camp, right? So those are the things that she had in her bin. What are some other activities? Do you have a bin? Was this yours?
Yes, this is mine. So
she has a bin of a couple of other activities that she did as well for the literature study. So what's in there?
This is the cards to the adjective game that they had in the book.
Okay, what else?
This is a little paper. They said to draw Camp Green Lake how it was 100 years later, and then draw it how it was 100 years before. So 100 years before, it was a lake. A lake with green trees and everything. But then 100 years later, it was a desert with the dried up lake and no green trees everywhere.
So it was really helping her, and it'll help your child if they do this literature study, to focus on the changes that had occurred over 100 years. And so that's why she had to draw that based off of descriptions that were given within the book for the literature study. What's something else you did?
I also there's 2 different stories in that one story, and I had to put each story line up or event in the order that it happened.
Okay, so sequence of events in the story. She also had to do a couple of diagram things. She had to do a poem as well, and write a poem. And why was it this shape? What was significant about this shape for the poem?
Because there was a lot of rattlesnakes in the desert that in the Book of Holes.
So she had to do a poem, and she had to do it in the shape of like a snake. And so that's why it's like curvy like this. What else did you do? What else is in here? I see another piece of paper.
I had to write a wanted poster.
She had to draw a wanted poster.
The warden.
For the warden in there.
Leader of that, of the camp.
Okay, so what was your final project that you had to do?
A presentation.
She had to do a presentation, and she did her presentation on poster board. So let us show you. I'm going to do like a wide shot of it, but right now I'm just going to show you guys what the poster
This is for
board.
the differences in the last activity before the presentation.
This was the differences in the last activity. What?
Before the presentation.
Before the presentation. So this was where she had to do similarities and differences in the different characters and relationships within the story. And then she also had to do a presentation. What did your presentation focus on?
It focused on outfits that would be at the camp if I would make one, and then different songs and activities, and like how the employees would be, and how they would interact and things like that.
So in the final presentation, she had to basically come up with her own camp. What they would do, how they would dress, any rules that they would have. She had to come up with all of that, fun games that they would play, and what they would be doing at this camp and what the purpose of the camp was for. The one that she designed, not the one actually in the whole book. So overall, how would you rate your first literature study that you did pretty much independently, right? How would you rate this literature study overall? 0 to 10. 10 is like amazing, can't get any better. 0 is like it really sucked.
Probably an 8 or a 9.
8 or 9. She read the chapters. We did go over the questions. I made sure that she understood what was going on within like the grammar aspects or any portion of it. You also had to do some research. There were different things that she had to research, like populations of different areas and the demographics. Also, what was another one? She had to look at the landscapes of the area. So mountains and valleys and hills and plains and of different areas and compare those as well. So lots of computer research that she had to do. Also, she had to do lots of writing, poems, letters. There was a lot of activity. All right, so are you done? That's all you want to say about it? Would you read the book again?
Yeah.
Yes. Was there any lessons that you learned from this literature study about life in general?
Life's not fair.
Life is not fair. Okay. Anything else? Anything that you would change? Anything that really stood out to you within this literature study? What about the relationship between the lady and the man? The man got killed out on the boat. What did that signify to you within the story? Why was he killed?
Oh, because he was black and most of the town was white, and the boy who got killed on the boat and the girl, someone caught them kissing, and the sheriff and everybody in the town didn't want that.
Okay, so what life lessons are we learning from this whole book? Or what things are we going to take away from it?
The racial discrimination.
What about it?
It's not fair. I mean, that could always be changed.
Any positive things that you saw in the book?
The relationships between two boys from the camp, and they helped each other get through it, and eventually got released.
They were really good friends, huh? They grew a friendship. That's awesome. What about honesty? Do you think that honesty played any major roles within the storyline?
Yes, the main character was very honest with what he did at the camp and when he went to court for what he did, which was nothing, honestly. And he was very honest with the questions that they gave him. I think that was also a big part.
Good. All right, sister. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now that Maggie's gone, I'm just going to share with you guys my thoughts on the Holes literature study. Overall, it was great. It was a really good literature study. Honestly, I don't know that I remember watching the movie. That is also a part of the literature study. But we did watch the movie. I had never read the book before. And there were lots of parts that I don't remember. I did not remember the racial discrimination and aspect of it. Ultimately, the gentleman was killed. But I didn't remember that. I don't know. It just didn't, I don't know. I don't know if I actually ever seen the movie or if I just heard of it. And so I didn't remember that portion of it from, 100 years ago. And also the present time of the movie, there were still racial aspects to it. Definitely lessons to be learned, a conversation to have with your child about that and what that means. I feel like Moving Beyond the Page does a really good job of preparing you for those things in the parental sections to say, you know, this is a hard topic that's coming up. Make sure you read ahead and decide if this is something that you want your child to read by themselves, if you want to read with them, or if you want to skip over it altogether. And so I do like that. She did do this literature study independently. I did not read with her every single day. We did talk about the actual questions and go over those things if she had any questions for me. The research portion of the literature study was something new for her because she has not done a ton of research, and so we did sit down and do some of those things together. Also, there are links within these the lessons, so if for some reason they want you to do something, you simply go to a link that is here. On the Moving Beyond the Page website, you create an account, which is completely free, and then you can go in and search for the literature study that you're doing, and all of the links will be on the computer, so on the website, so that you can click on them and open up a video or a site link to do population demographics, you know, anything like that, which is some of the things that we did for this literature study. It's all right there. So it will reference those things for you so that you know exactly where to go within the literature study. She did do the work and the writing within this book. I will just grab more if we ever decide to do it again. There's lots of grammar, there's spelling, there's vocabulary, there's additional research on the vocabulary words, finding words that you didn't know. This was jam-packed full of some really good work. We stopped our grammar, our spelling, and vocabulary when we went into this literature study, and I don't feel like we skipped a beat. There were still lots of grammar and writing work to be done to make up for stopping our regular curriculum in that specific area. So I did really like that. It gave us a really nice change of pace from those other things. We did take the full 3 weeks to do this. I believe this one is like 13 lessons. And then you have your final project, which they allot 2 days for. So we're talking 15 days, which in school days, that's a total of 3 weeks. And that's how long it took us to do this literature study. Overall, I would say it's a really great literature study. She enjoyed it as well. We learned lots. We talked about it. If you're concerned about the touchy subjects within it, I would just say read ahead and explain it to your child in the best way that you possibly can. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'm also going to be doing a review over Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry that my 6th grader did.